cool. Okay, go ahead, structured. There you go. My name's Natalie. I've been with Enzo for 12 years now. I travel around the country doing education, hair shows, all that crazy fun stuff. A little bit about our brand. We're the original clipless curling iron, so we're the first people to ever come out with the wands. Okay, we kind of started the whole crazy phenomenon. We have 13 different shapes and sizes. Straight barrels. Okay, so we have 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1.25 inch. The Conoco series, which I'm sure you guys have seen this shape everywhere. Okay, this is probably our most knocked off shape. You know, the girl that burnt her hair off with the Conair. Okay, not our iron. But the cone shape series is really nice because it creates more of a natural curl. The reverse series is my favorite. Who likes big hair? All right, this one's for volume. And then I'm going to go over the fabulous bi-tube as well. This one does those really flat, beautiful finger waves. And then I'm going to go over also the flat iron, which is new. It vibrates. We'll cover that. Whatever hand you're holding the iron with, keep it still. The problem when people burn themselves is they're moving this hand and they're moving this hand. If I'm doing that, what's going to happen? You have no control. Okay, we're so used to always using this hand. So the number one thing with the wand, you always want to keep that hand still, okay? So you guys are going to see me doing that a lot. Now, obviously, within the last 5 years, the wands have become this, I mean, every single brand has one. You got your Revlon, your Conairs, your Cheese, everything. Now, obviously, the number one question is, what is the difference? What is the difference between Enzo and any other curling iron? First of all, your regular heating element on a standard curling iron is 1 inch. Okay, that's like on your Hot Tools or your Springer Marcel. Okay, that little amount of heat goes 370, 410, 415. It's got to travel the full length of the barrel. That's why your regular curling irons are super hot at the base and they're cooler at the tip. What we did was we took that heating element, extended it the full length of the barrel. Okay, so this goes hot all the way through. Now we also cooled the iron by 30%. This only runs at 320. So it's a lower heat, but it's more consistent. Okay, does that make sense? So it's not necessarily cooler, it's different. Okay, it's definitely more impactful. Now, obviously the way you use these irons are totally different as well. So I'm going to show you the 3 basic techniques. First one is what we call a ringlet curl. Okay, so now I'm going to keep this hand still. Now you always want to point the iron down slightly, just wherever it's comfortable. You don't want to point it up because what happens when you point it up? It's just going to fall back on your hand, okay? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap side by side, never overlapping. Now if you look closely, you can see the hair's twisting on the barrel. That's what we want to create this technique, or to create this curl. Now we're going to do about 5 to 10 seconds. Now this is very important. You want to let go here. See how I caught it? Slide the iron back towards the root and then catch it. Drop it. Okay, there you have a nice ringlet curl. Now, did you guys notice anything weird? Like how close I got to the barrel? Okay. Can you get your finger that close to a Springer Marcel? No way. Okay. We use ceramic resistors inside of our curling irons. This is the main difference between any other one. Okay, if I got my finger this close to a Springer Marcel, what would happen?
Burn.
Exactly. Okay, I would burn myself. Okay, a regular curling iron uses direct heat. We use ceramic, so we use thermal heat. So it's a lot easier to maneuver. It's pretty much the difference between using like a metal flat iron versus using a ceramic flat iron. It's both of them are going to get the hair straight, but what's going to be the difference? The integrity of the hair. Okay, it's not dry, it's not burnt, it's not frizzy. Okay, so that's another main difference. And because of our heating elements too, the irons are a lot easier to maneuver. You can get a lot closer as well. But they also do come with your little gangster Michael Jackson glove. Okay, so if you need to, it does come with it. It also does come with a instructional DVD. Now what's cool about the DVD is it shows you how to do it on someone as well as how to do it on yourself. And I'm going to go over the proper way to use it on yourself today as well. Second technique is what we call a ribbon curl. I call it the quinceañera curl. You guys will know what I'm talking about when I do it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to lay the hair flat. Side by side, never overlapping. Why don't we want to overlap it?
Even heat?
Exactly. We want all the hair to be at the same temperature. That's why the curls last so long. When you bundle all the hair on top of each other, the hair is at different temperatures, it doesn't penetrate through. 5 to 10 seconds. Let it cool. And it's very important to let your curls set too. You can always pin them. Like if I'm working with fine hair, really long hair, I'll just pin it. Okay, so same iron, all I did was switch my technique. Okay, does that make sense? So the first one was twisted, the second one was flat. Now the next iron I'm going to show you guys is actually the 25. It's a little bit bigger than this one. Does anybody have that size? I got it last time? No? It's a standard 1 inch.
Is that the grande one?
No, it's the 1 inch is straight across. The grande is the tapered one. That's a good one. So the next technique I'm going to show you single-handedly is what made these irons so popular. Okay, it's what we call the Enzo wave technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a thin, wide section, horizontal, not vertical. Okay, you know, you see in all the magazines, all the waves are really wide. Okay, they're doing horizontal sectioning, not vertical sectioning. So here I'm going to grab a size bigger. This is the 25 millimeter. Now I'm going to pinch right here. Now here I'm going to go away from the face. You know how kind of that whole modern Farrah Fawcett looks really in? So I'm going to pinch here and I'm going to place the iron away from the face. The cool thing about these irons is wherever you set the iron is where your curl is going to start. So I don't necessarily always have to have it all the way up at the top. If you want it to be lower, just slide it down a couple inches. You have total control. So I'm going to pinch here and I'm going to wrap back. Okay, it's naturally going to go into that twist. So we want to do about 5 to 10 seconds. If it's a bigger piece too, do 10 to 15. If the hair is coarser, longer, finer, less time. Let it cool. Drop it. Pop it. Okay, there you have those really pretty body waves. Now you can still do vertical sectioning. You know, so can you imagine, like the whole, what I would do, the whole top of the head, do your fine horizontal sections, wrapping back. Okay, but sometimes you don't have a lot of time, right? So the easiest thing to do a whole head the fastest, bottom half of the head, do 4 or 5 sections vertically towards the back. Now we want it to blend with our beautiful sections in the front, right? So we're going to have to use the same technique. I'm just going to change the section. So here I'm going to grab a vertical section. We want it to blend with that, so I'm going to make sure to pinch and wrap. I'm going to make a song one day.
Pinch and wrap, pinch and wrap.
Yeah, and then drop it while it's hot. Okay, so we want these sections to blend. Okay, so I use the same technique, I just grab vertically instead of horizontal. Okay, so if we pile this on top of this, okay, it'll give you the illusion that you went in there and did the whole thing horizontally. But what's great about doing vertical sections, what else is good about vertical sections? What are we saving? Length. Length. Okay, here you're saving 2-3 inches of length. Okay, especially the girls with extensions. They're like, oh, you can't even take an inch off that length. They freak out. Just grab vertically towards the back. That'll help elongate it. Okay, when you get to the top, do your fine horizontal section so you get all the detailing, but that way it only took you 10 or 15 minutes. Does that make sense? Yeah. Showing you guys the cheater tips today. Alright, so vertical sectioning is great for time, okay, also as well for lengthening the hair. Go over is the Conico series. Series is our more natural series. Okay, this is my vintage Enzo, by the way. If you guys ever see green ones, you know that whoever has them is super gangster. Okay, these are old. But the shape is looser at the top, tighter at the ends. Okay, it mimics natural curl perfectly. Okay, the small one's great for definition and detail. You have that curly hair clients that have the unrolly pieces in the front or the crazy pieces in the back. You can just go right over it and reshape and reform it. I'm going to have you come up. Okay, so I'm going to go side by side, never overlapping. Let go here, let it cool. Okay, so that, look, you can touch up any, I mean, it looks exactly like a natural curl. Okay, but also too, because of the shape, if I wanted to just use the tip, I'll get a different size. Might have fit off more than But this one's great for, I mean, you would never think that that little wave came out of something so small. You know, people see this iron, they're like, Jerry curl. Not necessarily. Same iron, all I did was switch my technique and where I placed the hair. So with the Conoco series, you really get a huge range in size, for sure. That's cute. Okay, so all I did there was just use the ringlet pattern, the ringlet technique, and just use the tip of the iron. Okay, so you're getting a really, really nice big range in size. Now, if she came in and she's like, I want Beachy Waves, what do we have to do? We have to go in there. No, if we didn't have Enzo. Okay, what would we have to do? We'd have to go in there, wash her, blow her out, then go in and curl her. At that point, what happens to the curls? Hair's paralyzed. They don't want nothing to do with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with a bigger size. This is the grande. So this is a 1 inch and a 3/4 blend. Now I'm going to go in and do that body wave technique. And you guys can see the shine that's in the hair. I'm not putting anything crazy in it. There's no magic on my fingers. Okay, that's that heating element. It's the ceramic heating. There's no sign of her original curl pattern in there. Okay, what does this mean? Okay, this is going to save a lot of time. Okay, you can stick somebody under the dryer, let that hair get crazy Mufasa big. Okay, go in there, smooth it out with the curling iron. Okay, how long is that curl going to stay? Till she washes it. Okay, what's great is that we're working with the hair's natural elasticity instead of against it. We're always used to straightening the hair, then curling it, and then it doesn't hold. Okay, with this, we're working with what she already has. Even when dealing with fine hair, you know some fine hair, they have like that little light layer of frizz on there? Okay, instead of smoothing that out, keep it in the hair. That's actually going to help the curl stay. That heating element's going to smooth it right out. Okay, but you want to keep any sort of bend, any sort of texture, keep it in the hair. Okay, that's definitely going to make it last a lot longer. Can you still do it over flat ironed hair? My hair's curled over flat ironed hair. I'm naturally curly. So you can still do it both ways. If I did it over my natural, my curls would be a lot bigger and bouncier. Okay, so it just depends on the style that you're trying to create. So that was the medium with the grande. The grande definitely is one of our more popular sizes. Okay, and you got to remember with the Conoco series, it's always going to taper down a little bit. So you see the difference between this one and the 25? Okay, the 25 at the end was more wide and even. Okay, this one's going to get a little bit smaller at the end. And then of course, if you wanted to do her little, this is not going to be as big of a Jerry curl, but okay, I can just use the tip of the iron, or I can just use the back of the iron. So the Conoco series, you definitely have a huge range in size. Very pretty. One more. And then of course we had to come out with a huge one, right? Okay, this is the enorme. This is 1.25 inches towards the back. This is 1 inch towards the tip. A lot of girls with the ombre like this one. This is going to be more flat here and then kind of wavy towards the end. Okay, so it's going to be more smooth. Now these irons are also non-stick, so you can use gels, mousses, hairsprays, whatever you want to use with them. It's not going to ruin the barrel. What I love about them is I don't use anything. If I'm doing like a wedding or something like that, I'll use a light finishing spray and you're good to go. Okay, if you want to spray each piece and wrap it on the barrel, it's not going to ruin the iron. Okay, you're not going to get that buildup, you're not going to get that residue. But I've honestly found that we tend to over product, especially fine hair. We're throwing gel, mousse, hairspray, all that stuff in there, but it ends up weighing the hair down even more. You know, with these, we know that the heating element's what's making that curl stay in there, so you don't need to use so much product. If you want to, you can. Okay, so that's going to give me real loose on top. Okay, and then it's going to taper down at the end. She's got perfect hair for this, doesn't she?
Oh, it's pretty.
Okay, so it's nice and shiny. And then if we wanted to just do the tip of the iron, tip of this iron will be a 1 inch. So curly, wavy hair, these irons are your best friend. And especially with, like, she already has some pretty nice wave to her hair. If we just did 4 or 5 heavy panels towards the top of her head, we wouldn't even need to do her whole head. Okay, it'll mix in with the natural. And it's really nice too for curly haired clients because they're so used to, I mean, you walk in with curly hair, you're always walking out with straight. You know, but even if you just kind of manipulate it, take you 10 or 15 minutes, you know, and they'll leave feeling like they got something different, you know, instead of the same structure. There you go. Thank you. Okay, so going back to the coating too, we use powder coating. Okay, if you look at a lot of the wands out there, they have the shiny gray finish or they have the shiny black finish. If you notice, ours are a lot more matte. Okay, this is a powder coat. This is not a paint. Okay, what's nice about a powder coat is that A, it's thicker. Okay, but not only that, it has a little bit of texture to it. So when you lay the hair on the iron, it doesn't slide. Okay, that also is why the curls last so long, because that heat is really, really getting heated evenly. Okay, you're not worrying about the hair sliding around. Okay, so that's another thing to look for too when you're looking for wands. The reverse series is super awesome. Okay, this is one of our more unique series. Because of the shape, a lot of people assume that what? It's going to be a small curl on top and then it's going to go out to a bigger curl. That's not necessarily true. Okay, because it's smaller here, what's going to happen is you're getting more rotations out of the root of the hair. So when the weight of the hair pulls down, the root's actually going to stay lifted. So instead of your root dragging, it's going to actually stay up. Okay, and I'm going to show you different directions that you can do it too. To create volume, you always want to go over the iron. Okay, and that's true with any of them. And the techniques that I'm showing you can be done with any of the single irons. So here I'm going to do a thin wide section. I'm going to pinch here. I'm going to create volume, so I'm going to go this way. I'm creating a wave pattern, so I'm going to pinch and wrap. If you want to create waves, that hair has to be twisting. If it's not twisting, you'll get more of that flat curl. So we're going to do about 10 or 15 seconds. Slide this back towards the root. Let it cool. Drop it. Pop it.
Pop it.
Just see, I told you. Okay, you see how much lift we're getting here? You're not getting a lift like that from regular curling hair. So even though it was that weird shape, you notice it still pulled one uniform size.
So what if you don't want volume? If you just do it the opposite way?
That's what I'm going to show you guys next. If you do it the opposite way, it does like those really deep, like vintage waves. This iron's great, especially if you're into doing a lot of updos or you're into doing photo shoots. It's great for setting the hair. Because you're getting all that volume, you're not getting any lines of demarcation at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to go the opposite direction. So I'm going to go on top. Side by side, never overlapping. See if you got a different pattern. This is how you build body. You know, sometimes all your curls run together. Okay, which right now I feel like that's in the front of the face. But if you want to create body, alternate them. Okay, that'll build it out. So if you do an over-under, you can really build a lot of body. If I did a whole head this way, it'll look totally different. Okay, even though I used the same iron, all I did was switch my direction. So it's very important to pay attention to that too. And then if you still need to get your quinceañera curl on, you still can with this one. Okay, you'll just get a little bit more lift. And any of like the medium sizes, like the medium reverso, the grande, the 25, if you don't own an Enzo, those are great sizes to start with because they'll work with all lengths and textures. So you can pretty much do the same curls that you can do with a regular curling iron, but way more and safer. Okay, this is a lot less damaging on the hair. A, because we're using ceramic heat. Also, because your ends are touching last. With a regular curling iron, what happens? You're either starting mid-shaft or you're starting from the bottom. You're overlapping all the hair. Okay, you're waiting for the outside to get warm. What's going on the inside? It's burning for the hair. But it also makes it so they last longer. This one's one of the newer ones. This is the larger verse. Okay, so it's the same concept as the other one. Okay, we're starting from the top. We're evenly distributing the weight of the curl. That way it's going to last a lot longer as well. When you pinch, that keeps the hair together so it doesn't spread in a bunch of different directions. So it naturally goes into the twist. A lot of people overthink the twist. All you got to do is hold the hair together and just wrap. It does it on its own. But if you don't do that, it'll lay flat, so it'll look more like the ribbon curl. Which still looks good, but a lot of people feel like, I mean, the waves are really wet. Okay, so here we got a lot of volume on a really big curl. And then people always ask me how they do the Victoria's Secret curl. You know, the really big, kind of wide away from the face. The wider your section, the looser your wave's going to be. Okay, so here I'm going to go really wide. Now instead of starting up here, I'm going to actually slide it down a couple inches. And these are great also too for sealing up blowouts. You know, you want to add a little extra bend. Okay, so you see how wide I went there? Yeah. The wider the section, the looser your wave will be. Okay, so those are the reverses. Now let's get to the fun part. Doing it on yourself. Okay, who in here does it on themselves? Who has mastered it? Yes. It's an art. But it's not as hard as everyone thinks it is. Okay? When I actually show people the correct way to do this, people actually find this easier than using a regular curling iron. Okay, with a regular curling iron, you're trying to get the ends right, you're holding it. If you mess up, you get the dent in it. It's a disaster. Okay? With these, the same rule applies when you're doing it on someone as when you're doing it on yourself, okay? All right, so here I'm gonna do a body wave. I'm actually gonna use the 31 millimeter. I haven't showed you guys this one yet. This is the biggest size that we have. This is 1.25 inches. Okay, it's nice and straight all the way, same from top to bottom. Okay, now I wanna create that body wave effect. So I'm gonna keep my hand still. I'm actually gonna use my thumb here to remind me to keep it still. Okay, I'm gonna point the iron down slightly and I'm gonna wrap. Okay, see how I'm cupping my hand? Slide the iron back towards the root, let it cool. Drop it, pop it. Okay, now if I'm doing the back of my head, this is where people get really freaked out. I can do the left side, but I can't do the back. Okay, how am I gonna do it?
Yes.
Same rules apply. Okay, so I'm gonna, what's my number one rule? Stabilize my hand, right? So actually here I'm gonna use my knuckles. Now the whole key is you wanna make sure you can see the barrel in the mirror. Okay, that way you know where you're wrapping. Notice I'm never moving this hand. The minute you start going like this, you won't have control. Okay, so just make sure to stabilize that hand. Let it cool. Pop it. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, now if I'm doing the other side of my head, how am I going to do it? No. How am I going to do it? Switch hands. Now this is where people lose it. Switch hands? What are you talking about? I'm left-handed. I'm right-handed. My other hand doesn't work. Okay? Everyone stick both hands up in the air. Don't be too cool. Alright? Rotate forward or rotate backwards. Congratulations, you guys are all Enzo certified. Okay? And your other hand works. Yay! Okay, with these irons, we're not clicking, turning, pulling, rolling. All we're doing is either going forward or backwards. That's it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab a section again. Stabilize my hand here, and I'm going to wrap. I promise your other hand does work. I promise. But that's why a lot of people ask, well, how come my curls look one way on one side and I can't make them to look, or I can't have them look the same way on the other side? Okay, and that's also true with styling. Use both hands. It'll make you stronger in styling. It'll make you stronger in blow drying. Okay, Okay, it's very important. Drop it, pop it. If you mess up, guess what? Go back over. Okay, you're not committed to anything. I'm gonna go over is the bi-tube. Can you do it on yourself? I know 2 people that can, one of them is not me. So it can be done. But what's great about it is it's stylist only. Which means what?
We get the money.
Charge for it. Yeah, charge for it. This is not a look that they can achieve easily at home. And once I do this one, you guys will know exactly what curl I'm talking about. Especially right now, it seems to be really, really popular. The whole like Gatsby, like vintage, yeah. This is the large bi-tube. Now this one, definitely the hair has to be long. Okay, it has to be long enough because we're going to be wrapping it in a figure 8. So you're talking at least 6 to 8 inches. Okay, not a lot of layers in the front either. It's got to be long layers. A lot of people love this one for bridal, okay, or photo shoots. Now I'm going to have my handy dandy glove on this one. So I'm going to pinch here, small bar on top, stick the hair in between. I'm going to half turn towards myself. What am I going to do with this hand? Keep it still, okay? You want to make sure with this one too that you're not sliding this down because your whole finger wave will go with it. Okay, so small on top, rotate up, lock my wrist. Keep this pinched. Now if I try to go in with a lot of tension, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. See how that's loose? Swing it in, up, and over. This is where I'm going to pull my tension. Back to the middle, just like a figure 8. Then you're going to slide from the back, forward. Drop it, pop it. See how these are more flat? The other ones we're working with are deep. Okay, so this one's great for updos, okay, for pinning. They look, our irons always look best when they're mixed too. Like this one mixed in with the reverses is really pretty. Okay. Okay, so you see this is a small piece. You can twist them and turn them in whatever ways you want. Okay, just add a little bit of texture. I used to make flowers out of them back in the day. Remember those little like Velcro jewels that you used to like twist in the hair? So I'm sure any of you guys interested in doing keratin treatments, it's hot enough for you to do that. Okay, ceramic tourmaline plates. Okay, ceramic keeps the heat even, the tourmaline keeps the shine in the hair. Now these also have the spring-loaded plates, which is how they're making flat irons now. So I encourage you, even if you don't buy mine, to make sure that your irons have this. That's the floating plates. Okay, what that does is it grabs the hair for you. The problem is with the stationary plates, especially when you're working with curly hair, if those plates don't move and you go to do that cute little flip at the end, especially if you have curly hair, that turns into an edge and it rips all the ends out. That's why you get all those little hairs all over your sink. Okay, when you have the spring-loaded plates, what it does is it glides through, so it prevents that. This also has a 30-minute auto shut-off of non-use. So if it's just sitting there, it'll turn off. Okay, it's not going to turn off while you're using it. It has a motion sensor in it that lets it know that it's being used. The vibration feature is really cool. Okay, it's something that you can turn on or off. What the vibration is actually for is to protect your wrist. Okay, the last 10 years, hairdressers have become so reliant on flat ironing. And especially if you've been flat ironing a long time, like you were using the Gold Hot Tools. Okay, we're used to always pressing as hard as we can, okay, and sliding right through. Okay, the problem is when you're pressing and you're pressing and you're pressing, especially when you're in a salon or you're on a photo shoot and you're styling a lot of hair, your wrist starts getting tired. Okay, because you're squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. What the vibration does is it increases your blood flow there, so it doesn't allow you to. Like I can't even squeeze this as hard as I can because that's not allowing me to. Okay, so it helps relax your wrist. If you don't like it, you don't use it. Okay, I actually thought I wouldn't like it, and now I feel weird if I use it without it. Okay, but it literally goes through the hair like nothing. Okay, there's no tension whatsoever. Now who cares about all that stuff if it doesn't straighten good, right? And so here I'm usually styling on 430. You can use 450. Okay, with using 450, just go fast. Okay, it doesn't leave the hair feeling dry. Also too, we're the only manufacturer that offers a lifetime warranty. Okay, lifetime warranty covers any manufactural defects. You plug it in, it doesn't heat up, send it back to us. We don't fix them, we just replace them. Okay?